What's up, diggers? I'm back to do another comic book review. Today I'll be looking at Avengers Volume 3, Number 7. This is from August 1998, actually. I want to talk about this comic for two reasons. One, it's part of a crossover, and two, it's one of the best Carol Danvers stories I've encountered so far. Carol Danvers right now is kind of a radioactive character in the fan community. There are some people saying that she is a propped up political statement, and others saying that she's a strong, independent woman. I fall into the former camp, and this story shows exactly why. It's very good. But before I get into that, I want to talk about crossovers a little bit. This is something you might have problems with when you're collecting comic books. This is Live, Free, or Die Part 4 of 4. And I got it because I was collecting Avengers. Now, this proved to be one of the harder issues to find of this series, just because it crosses over with Captain America, Iron Man, and Quicksilver. So if someone is a Iron Man collector, they're going to need to get this issue to complete all the stories in their collection. So sometimes when you have these crossovers, it can be a little bit difficult to find the different pieces. I mean, I was still able to pick this up for $1, and I can't find the Quicksilver issue or the Iron Man issue, but I haven't been looking very long. But the Quicksilver issue is especially annoying because that is a series that was propped up just to have crossovers run through it. There's this crossover, and then there's another one with Heroes for Hire, and you can find Quicksilver issues everywhere, but you can never find the crossover issues, and it's really frustrating. But I read the part 2 from Captain America just because I had this one from when I was a kid, and I just kind of jumped into part 4. So let's turn the page. I'll show you a little bit of what I saw and how I got caught up along the way. This book did a really good job. This is George Perez and Kurt Busiek on writing, and he does a great job of filling you in on what's going on. But especially, there's a lot of people who criticize the way Marvel does their recap pages, but when you see something like this, you can understand why. This is what we used to get. We used to get this thorough, here's the summary of what the book is about, and here's all the characters involved, and here's what recently happened. This recaps everything else from this crossover. And you just don't have this level of quality, and it's not in the page count, it's in the cover. Like, there's still a full 22-page story here. Actually, I swear these ones were bigger back in the day. I could be wrong. But even if you didn't read that, this does a very good job. So the long and the short of it is, there's kind of two plots going on. The main plot is about the Kree have been defeated by the Avengers one too many times, and there's this lunatic legion that was formed by a bunch of Kree purists, and they're getting ready to set off a bomb that incorporates some aspects of Carol Danvers because she has Kree powers, and the Inhumans' Terrigen crystals because they were Kree experiments. And this bomb is hopefully going to make everyone on Earth a new kind of Kree. So that's the main plot. But the plot that's more interesting is the Carol Danvers story. Carol Danvers, up to this point, it's been alluded to that she might be an alcoholic. And anytime she's confronted with that, she becomes very defensive. And basically, Iron Man and Captain America have both had negative encounters with her. So has Scarlet Witch. And this is kind of where it all comes to the climax. So essentially, she's going on trial. And I love this, classic Avengers. Everything was very formal. Let me just read some of this dialogue. This is from Captain America. I hereby declare this special tribunal open. Let the record show that the current roster of the Avengers is present. What? This is so, it's like a, going to a VFW hall, or maybe or the Shriners. A Shriners hall and seeing one of their meetings. I was in a fraternity and we did stuff like this, so it's just weird. I don't know, do firemen do this? Is this a fire hall thing too? This very formalized kind of structure, having all of the active members. So yeah, she's basically, everyone testifies against her and says, Captain America has a very legitimate reason to be frustrated with her. His frustration lies more with the fact that he didn't know her power levels. Right before this in comics, she had these binary powers that made her effectively as powerful as a star, a lot of energy transmutation and stuff. She was a really high-powered character, and I don't really know how she lost them, but she lost them, and she hasn't told anyone. So Captain America's I can't trust you in the field. I don't know what you're capable of, and you won't be honest with me. The alcohol thing is second. So yeah, this is basically just piling it on. And she's really frustrated and broken up. And then basically they all get done, and she flips out. She's just like, it's all a crock. This is all fake. You've had it in for me from the start. Like, just this very defensive reaction. And, this is something you see a lot in modern comics. This kind of like, no, the system's rigged against me. You're all just men and you're keeping me out. But here you see it, and it's portrayed very negatively. I don't think they'd ever do something like this and have this negative slant on that she is really easily in the wrong. It's clear to see. The writer took an angle on it, and he made sure you felt the same way. She's in the wrong. She should have been more upfront with her power. She should have been more upfront with her alcoholism. Tony's gone through alcoholism. He knows exactly what she's going through. So yeah, she effectively is like, I quit. I'm out. I'm done. Just like, and that's something I could see in modern comics being portrayed as like a strong, independent move. Here it's portrayed very negatively. As a cool side plot, there's this really awesome ongoing, this is late 90s, Heroes Return era, so they were getting back to classic storytelling. Kurt Busiek does a great job of like making this Wonder Man story. Essentially, Scarlet Witch can summon Wonder Man at any point if she's in actual danger, but here she just does it on the fly. But it's a really interesting story. It's really like gripping me from issue to issue to see, what can he do and what his powers are. So anyway, it gets back to the Kree thing, but this story isn't good because of the Kree stuff. The Kree stuff is secondary. This is a good Carol Danvers, it's kind of a coming to Jesus moment for her. So she's looking on at the moon. The fight's going on the blue side of the moon, and she's like, I should be up there. I should be fighting. And then she's like, you know what? I should be up there because I can prove myself, and I'll show them. I'll show them. And she flies, and more fighting. Like I said, I'm just going to skip through a lot of the crossover stuff. This wasn't a great overall crossover. The Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers stuff really saved it. And then, wait, I think I passed it up. Oh yeah, okay, it's down here. So she's trying so hard to get there, and she's just failing. I don't think she's drunk at this point. I think she's just realizing that she's not as powerful as she once thought she was. And we just end with this very defeated character. This next page is pretty heartbroken. So she basically just falls back to Earth, and she's just like, I need a drink. And it ends. It's just a great setup of showing a character who's been very strong through a lot of stuff, dealing with the loss of her powers, dealing with the negative impacts that essentially has on her career. She's a military woman. She's very aware that she is only as good as the level at which she can perform. So she lost her power, she turned to alcoholism, she still tried to struggle on, but it's not working. This is a great coming to Jesus moment. And you know what? I'll spoil it here, but she does get to come back stronger, better, faster, smarter, in a really great story a little bit later on in this same series. The SJW stuff really didn't start with Miss Marvel until, I would say, the first hints of it started creeping in around Civil War when they were playing her up as like a female lead. But it didn't get super political until, I would say, the last couple years. I haven't read a lot of the current Captain Marvel stuff. I do have the Carol Corps, which I might take a look at and see how bad it is. I do have Miss Marvel stuff that I'm currently working my way through. Might do a much longer video about that. But yeah, this is a story about a hero coming to terms with issues and not exactly coming out of it the other side, still being the same hero. She's gone from this cocky person who's like, you know what? You're all wrong. I'm the greatest hero ever. You're going to be sorry when I'm gone. Into this broken, like, she realizes that she's messed up, she's washed up, she's done. So it really makes you interested in seeing where she goes next. I'm going to try to figure out what issue she appears in next. I know I have some of the Avengers comics she appears in a little bit later. I'm going to see what her next appearance is like, maybe do a review on that. So until then, go read a comic. Any comic.